In this session, we are going to investigate the different types of DOE. The special feature of the custom design model is that it allows the user to design the DOE as desired and according to their wishes. In fact, when this model is activated, a table of the values of the input parameters is created instead of the DOE environment, so that the user can enter the desired values manually from the input parameters. Also, if another model of test design is selected before selecting this model, after selecting the custom design model, the same previously created table remains on the page, but the values in this table can be changed manually. Another feature of this design model is that external software files in CSV format can be called to the test environment design table. In fact, the ability to recall external data to the software is activated only when selecting a custom design model. This figure shows a common design model with a sample or custom plus sampling. There are two input parameters in the design space. It should be noted that there are two methods of defining design sample points manually, which include the custom model and the custom model with the sample. But the difference between the two methods is that in the custom model with the sample, the total number of samples can be determined manually. The sparse grid initialization model has three levels for dividing the different modes of the input parameters. The three levels include -1, 0, and +1. The level of +1 and -1 is equal to the maximum and minimum values of each input factor, respectively, and the level 0 is equal to the middle value of the parameter. Therefore, each input factor is divided into three parts or levels between its maximum and minimum values. The number of divided modes in the present model is obtained from the following equation, in which k is the symbol of the number of input parameters. According to the following formula, the number 1 indicates the only case in which all factors have their own mean value, level 0, and the expression 2k indicates the states in which the maximum and minimum values of each factor, level +1 or level -1, are considered with a constant mean value of the remaining parameters. For example, suppose an input parameter has a maximum and minimum values of 90 and 110 respectively. Therefore, the values of 90 and 110 indicates level -1 and level +1 respectively, and the mean value of this range is equal to 100, also indicates the level 0. Now, suppose that according to the above pattern, we have an example that the radius parameter defined in the experimental design environment table has a range of changes from 90 mm to 110 mm, and the design model of the space grid initialization is used. This figure shows the table created in the ANSYS Workbench software. This DOE model should be used when the goal is to create a sparse grid response surface. The sparse grid response surface is based on the accuracy of the model. In fact, this type of response level, where the gradient of the desired output parameter is higher, can automatically correct the matrix of design points in order to increase the accuracy of the response level. The Latin hypercube sampling design is an advanced or developed algorithm using the Monte Carlo sampling method. These points are randomly... Latin hypercube sampling design is an advanced or developed algorithm using the Monte Carlo sampling method that prevents cumulative or cluster specimens points from forming. These points are randomly generated within each of the square grids in the design space, but not two points can be found that have the same input parameter values. This figure shows the space involved in the design points in accordance with the Latin hypercube sampling design model. It should be noted that the Latin hypercube sampling design model also behaves in terms of how to select the sample type points, such as the optimal space filling design model. In fact, the sample type selection methods are the same as the previous ones, and the process of spacing between the two sample points in the design space is the same as the previous method. The only difference between the two methods is that the type of combination of the sample points of each of the input parameters with the sample points of the other input parameters. In fact, the number of sample points for each input parameter and the value of those sample points in both design model is similar. However, the arrangement of these points in the design sample between the defined input parameters differs from each other in these two methods. Master CFD experts are ready for DOE analysis, consulting, training, and CFD simulation. To benefit from Master CFD services including simulation, consultation, and training, contact our experts via info@mastercfd.com.